Welcome to another session of Inside Outlooks, where we know that personal growth is an inside job. How we think, what we think, and why we think it are what determines our level of success and happiness. It's time to take a look inside to change the world around us. We wake up one day and we go, wait a minute, is this what I believe or is this what I was told I should believe?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the midlife crisis. It's like, if I want to buy a Corvette, I'll go buy a freaking Corvette. Who's going to tell me I can't, or whatever it is, right? I mean, yeah, part of it's probably to make us feel younger or whatever, but I think it's just this moment of realizing that I have been living somebody else's values or somebody else's whatever for so long, and I don't want to do that anymore, right?
And I believe wholeheartedly that the pandemic it really sped up a lot of people's midlife crises. I know people who are, I'm in my 20s. I have friends who are younger than me who changed jobs, moved, ended relationships, got married, had babies because it was a point in our lives where we said, like, okay, wait a second, I don't have forever. What am I living? Like, whose life am I living?
Well, it also put some things in there in Magnascope, right? I mean, it put, like, think about relationships. All of a sudden now you're stuck at home with your spouse for the next, 2 years, and you have to see them every day. You're not going off to work to get that break, right? It also sped up divorces, right? Mm-hmm. It might sped up the other side of that too with relationships where people came together quicker because they wanted connection so bad. Like, it really did put some things into a time warp. The question is, what did it slow down? Anything? I mean, I don't know, I never thought about it, but did it slow anything down other than restaurant business and things like that? Because I think it did. It sped up a lot of stuff. It made people decide what's important, right? Or what we didn't want.
If I had to grab something, I think it slowed down our growth to patience as a society, at least from a Western culture aspect. Talking about here, it slowed down our ability to access patience more.
Or, well, it also forced us to be a little patient too, which could have an adverse effect because it becomes a pressure cooker, right? If you're forced.
Well, that's I wouldn't I personally wouldn't categorize that as patience as much as forced quiet time or whatever it might be. So it was unnatural, but I think that's a stretch because I don't even think you have to get something that might be it for me. But your point's true. I mean, it has hastened a lot of things. Midlife crisis of the pandemic from an economic or an enterprise level is there's a midlife crisis over wages and career path. To your point, younger people are doing something uncommon to older people and just quitting and moving on. Older people are doing something uncommon that they wouldn't have thought of before, which is quitting and moving on. I have an issue hiring 2 staff members, 2 positions that we found great matches, and they wanted $20,000 more than what the range was. And we kept getting hit by that. And then I started doing more research and more thought process on it and becoming more aware of, like, holy shit, I'm behind. I don't want to spend 20 grand more, but that is going to be the loss of my business. I've got to get up with the times. And to your point, Matt, like, the times is only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, people would have been happy to take $50,000. They want 70 now. Yeah. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. It's just different.
And I'll tell you what, and I mean, we've seen the real estate industry obviously do what it's doing, and we've seen the car industry doing what it's doing, right? I just talked to my attorney here who bought a Ford Raptor, because he was driving by a dealership and he got a pop-up on his Facebook and he couldn't believe the price, so he just decided to stop, and they were like, no, this is wrong. But then they saw that it was a Ford advertisement, and they're like, well, because they advertised it, we got to give it to you for this. So he got it for like 60 grand instead of 70 grand or something. Yeah, they have already called and offered him like 78 grand or something to buy it back, right? But anyway, the other thing is everything is starting to do that. If you don't know it already, everything is starting to go up. We, just a easy personal example, we've been stopping at a furniture store way too often. But the same furniture store, right? And Heather's looking at this lamp, And she really liked the lamp. And I was like, get the lamp if you want to get the lamp. It's $700, right? Well, of course, when she decided we were going to go get it, they sold it. Well, they have 2 more on order, but guess how much they're going to be?
$800.
Lamp, $1,000. Because of the supply and the demand and the difficulty in getting stuff, things are starting to, and Pottery Barn we were in this past weekend doesn't have prices on a lot of stuff. And when asked why, they said because prices are changing constantly right now. And they're going up and up and up and up and up. And so all the stuff that's going on in the world, we're going to start seeing that, which is going to continue to separate the haves from the have-nots, which is going to continue to probably spark the polarization in this country and everything else, which is why the Fed's raising interest rates, right, to try and slow that down a little bit. But anyway, it's just interesting. I mean, it's a totally different subject, but.
Thanks for listening, and remember, your outside world is an inside job. See you next time. Hey, can we get 2 more over here? Make them doubles.